Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright's Attorney Trials and Tribulations. Today, we're finishing The Stolen Turnabout. October 14th, 12:14 p.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 4.
My sis?
I could have sworn I heard Mia's voice.
So then, she's still alive? Inside your heart?
Nicky boy. Oh, Miss Delight. Is it true that detective is the real killer? To be honest, we don't have any definitive proof. But he's the only one who could have done it. But wasn't he at Lordly Taylor that night?
Not to mention, we don't exactly know his motive. I mean, why would Detective Atme want to kill Kane Bullard?
Oops, it's almost time. Better get back to the courtroom. I need to find some solid proof. And it's gotta happen sooner rather than later. October 14th, 12:21 p.m., District Court, Courtroom Number 6.
Now then, this court is back in session. Mr. Luke Atme, please take the stand.
Well, how do you do, Sir Lawyer? I never would have thought to see you acting so recklessly. I couldn't let them hand down your verdict just yet. Not when it would have given you your perfect alibi. An alibi by the name of Mask the Mask. I'm sorry, I'm afraid even the great Luke Atme has no idea what you mean. Of course, I've been in the next courtroom ever since 10 o'clock this morning. I'm afraid there's no way I could know what's been going on in here.
You've been in the defendant's seat all day long, correct? Being tried as Mask the Mask.
Indeed, it's truly child's play to fool the ignorant masses. Not only did the poor fools ask me to protect their valuables, they even gave me a generous reward upon returning their own property to them. Take this red diamond ring that sparkles upon my divine finger, for example. So you continue to insist that you are, in fact, Mask the Mask? Of course.
Very well then, Luke Atme. Let us begin with this simple question. On October 12th at 1 a.m., Kane Bullard was murdered. Where were you at that time?
The one without knowledge lacks even the knowledge that he should be ashamed of himself. But don't worry, I will not hold it against you, Sir Judge.
Thanks.
Alright, Mr. Atme. The night of the murder. Speak. We're listening. As you wish, Sir Prosecutor. Witness testimony. The alibi. I was stealing the urn as Mask the Mask, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. A photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. The time at which the camera captured Mask the Mask was the same time as the murder.
It seems the main point of discussion will be this photo of the crime scene.
Everything else up until now was all part of his plan. There has to be a secret to this picture as well. Even the great Mask the Mask cannot be in two places at once. Now then, if you'll excuse me, I have a verdict to receive. Unfortunately, Mr. Atme, we still have to do your cross-examination. A fool is too foolish to know that he is a fool.
Why the fuck are you quoting Von Karma? I think he's trying to say that you're full of it, Nick.
The only thing that's full of it is his alibi. I was stealing the urn as Mask the Mask, just as I announced I would. Wait, shit. So, this photograph is the proof, correct? Indeed it is. And the man in the photo is certainly wearing a mask. Indeed he is. That is why I am called Mask the Mask. But conveniently, that also means that there is no way to tell who this really is.
What do you mean?
Objection!
Ah, are you saying that this is not, in fact, Luke Edme? That it could be being an accomplice dressed up as Mask the Mask to create an alibi? Oh, what an interesting idea. Are you saying that I, Lone Wolf Luke, had an accomplice? If Luke Gaffney was at KB's security during the murder, then the mask in this picture has to be a fake.
Then there really was an accomplice.
But right now I have no idea who it is.
I don't have any idea right now either.
Baseless objections are just what that guy wants. There's gotta be another way. I'm going to find it. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at one point. That's right. That was over 20 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. You sent the calling card to Lordly Taylor 10 days before the heist. That would mean you sent out the card after you began your security watch, right? Indeed. There was no reason why I couldn't do both jobs at once. It was the perfect opportunity to steal my latest target.
I see. You truly are evil, aren't you?
Yes, evil is what I am.
Hey, Nick, isn't there something odd about this? Detective Atme was always proud of his ace detective skills, right? But if the urn was stolen from Lordly Taylor while he was the only one watching it, he'd have no way to maintain his perfect ace detective persona.
You know, that's true. It is kind of odd. A photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. So, by photograph, you mean this piece of evidence here, is that correct? Indeed it is. That is it. The very thing that proves I committed the crime. The very thing that proves you committed the crime. When you think about it, it's really odd. You say that almost as if you had this picture taken on purpose.
Objection!
It was simply caught by the very camera that he had set up. We all have days like that. Indeed, it turned out that there was no such thing as the perfect crime after all. Life is truly an ironic thing. A sad blue melody. It looks like I'd better gather more information for now. If he's truly the killer, there's gotta be something in that something phony in that photo. The time at which the camera captured Mask the Mask was the same time as the murder. About the camera that took this photograph. Oh, come now, it's all too clear what you're thinking. Huh? You think I altered the timestamp on the photograph, don't you? I'm afraid that's impossible. The camera was set up by Lordly Taylor, and on top of that, it was Lordly Taylor's staff that printed that picture's data. Unfortunately for the defense, there's no way that picture could have been altered.
I see.
Looks like I'd better find something else that could be suspicious.
So this alibi is false?
It has to be, or he couldn't have killed Mr. Bullard at KB Security.
But I'm not really spotting anything unusual.
There are two possibilities. Either the mask in the photo is a fake, or the photo itself is. Time it was the same time as the murder. Carried into the basement of the house the day of the crime. Moved again that night. Fuck. The witness's statement is clearly faulty, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, but I can see nothing faulty. Unfortunately, I will have to penalize you, Mr. Wright.
I must be on the wrong track. It's the same as the murder. 1, 2. The time at which the camera captured the mask was the same as the murder. 102. I don't know. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Oh my god. Chat, I'm stupid. So, by photograph, you mean this piece of evidence right here. Is that correct? Indeed it is. That is it. The very thing that proves I committed the crime. I accidentally turned on face cam for a minute there. If I did, there'll be... I'm gonna cut it out, but like... But indeed it is. That is it. The very thing that proves I committed the crime. The very thing that proves you committed the crime. Surely even you understand by now. Lordly Taylor provided that camera. There's no way I could have tampered with it. That means I could not have killed Kane Bullitt, unless I had an accomplice. Come on, think long and hard about that night. The basement warehouse, and this picture that supposedly captures it. It's got to be here. Isn't there something funny about this picture? Are you implying that this picture is a fake? You bet I am. There's definitely something strange about this picture. We took a look around the basement warehouse that night before the theft took place, and there was something in this photo that doesn't match my memory of that night. Very well, then let's hear what you have to say. What about this photograph do you find funny? I think... The funny part is right here. Why, this is a blood stain. Ah, blood. Now this case is getting interesting. Not exactly. The stain is actually pink paint. Oh, just paint. And peach colored at that. From blood to peaches, the judge sure loves going on his wild tangents. The problem with this photograph is not the paint. The problem is, when you consider the layout of the basement warehouse, it turns out that something that should be there is nowhere to be seen. Well, Mr. Wright, what is supposed to be in this fake picture instead of that paint stain? Instead of the paint stains? The supervisor of the treasure exhibit stated the following. Well, there's a good reason for that. On the day of the crime around noon, that golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain training hall. I realized that the statue would be the perfect size for covering up the paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it. I myself was there the night the theft took place, and saw the statue in that spot. If this picture was truly taken on that night, then that statue should have been there. But when I went there the day after the theft, that statue of the old bag was sitting in the corner. Perhaps it was somehow pushed there accidentally. Your Honor, the statue was slightly larger than yourself and quite heavy. It would take more than an accidental push to move it that distance. Ha! In that case, can you prove it? Can you give us the rhyme and reason as to why that statue was moved that night?
Can you do it, Nick?
Never mind who moved it. The real question is, why did they move it?
Well, Mr. Wright, I hope you are prepared with your answer. Now then, who was the one that moved the golden statue on the night of the crime?
See, I don't know if it's asking for Adrian Andrews or Luke Atme. / Master Mask.
What do you think, Mr. Godot?
A man should be able to answer his own questions. That's what I think. Right now I'm busy trying to come up with 2 answers of my own. Why is coffee black? And why is it bitter?
Mr. Wright, to put it simply, you've messed up. What are you doing, Nick? You need to think about why the statue was moved.
The good thing about when everyone chews me out is that it gives me time to think. Okay, it's gonna want me to say look at me. The one who moved the statue is none other than... Look at me! Come now, said lawyer. There you go again on one of your strange delusions.
Mr. Wright, what basis do you have for your strange delusions?
Something stuck in my teeth. It's very simple. The witness was the only one in the basement warehouse that night. It's indeed very simple. However, why would I want to move a heavy golden statue? The reason for moving the golden statue. Here's where our battle really begins.
Well, Mr. Wright, what reason did the witness have to move that statue?
The reason can be found here in this photograph. Look at me, you pretended to be Mask the Mask, to create an alibi by showing you were at Lordly Taylor that night. But this photograph contains a single fatal flaw. If the statue had been there, your lie would be exposed like cheap film at a drugstore. That is why you moved that statue.
A single fatal flaw?
Interesting theory. Please enlighten us. Just where in this picture does this lie exist? Again, here. The lie in this photo is somewhere around here. Jumping to conclusions again, I think you need to take a gander in your local mirror. As the Yiddish proverb goes, a half-truth is a whole lie.
Keep lying like this and you'll be the one on trial.
Oh man, now they're calling me a liar. Fuck.
The question is why the statue was moved, right?
There was some reason the culprit didn't want the statue in the picture. At least that's what I thought. I'll ask you again, Mr. Trite. Oh, fuck. Hold on. Oakley dokley. Naturally, the lie in this photo is the timestamp.
What do you mean?
I'll tell you exactly what I mean. On the night in question, Luke Atme went to KB Security and murdered Kane Bullard. Therefore, it's obvious. It would have been impossible for him to have been at Lordly Taylor at this time.
But what does that have to do with the statue being moved?
Remember, if you will, Your Honor, when was this statue placed besides the warehouse door?
Well,
the statue was taken down to the warehouse on the day of the crime, and it was placed there in order to cover up the paint. Exactly. Luke Atme had already decided on the time when he was going to kill the victim. And so, in order to create an alibi for that time, he took this picture days before the murder took place. What the? Of course, the statue hadn't yet been brought down to the basement warehouse yet.
Ah!
So, on the day of the crime, Mr. Atme must have been quite nervous. As nervous as a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair factory, so to speak. Why? Because something that wasn't supposed to be there had been brought down and placed where it wasn't supposed to be. And that is why Luke Atme had to move the statue on the night of the murder. He did it to make the room match the way it had been in his photo. Gah! Hi there. Mr. Atme, is this true? One moment, Your Honor. Have you forgotten this? What's that? The data for the basement warehouse computer. According to this, the camera did indeed go off on the night of the crime. It's true that the camera had been set up by the Lordly Taylor staff. However, the program used to manage that data was yours. That alone would have allowed you to tamper with that data. Hi there. Mr. Godot, what is the meaning of this? Godot, I warned you about making me wait. Now put that coffee down. My 11th cup. I've promised to drink no more than 17 during a trial. Which means I'm still good till the last drop. However, the defense has a very good point. A good point? So what? We are all but travelers on a road of infinite points.
I think you've got your points mixed up with your other points.
So you say this photograph was taken ahead of time, and that the statue was moved in order to make it match. That's a very interesting idea. However, there's one point that can't be denied. Which is? That it's only a possibility. Men that are trapped by the chains of maybe can never reach their dreams.
That's very true.
No way, don't fall for that, Your Honor. Hey, Mr. Damask. Yes? If there's no funny business in your actions as Mask Damask, there should be no problem with you telling us your strategy. So, let's hear it.
Yes, please provide this court with your testimony about your plan to steal the sacred urn.
I first received the request from Lordly Taylor about 20 days ago. The urn was placed in a box in Zavari. It was then sent to the warehouse. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my card 10 days beforehand. I then handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. At last, I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 AM on October 12th.
That's pretty much all the stuff we heard before, isn't it?
Yeah, but we will find the truth hidden in the nuggets of new information he gave.
Witness, you're sure there are no mistakes this time?
Zavari.
Very well then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
I first received the request from Lordly Taylor about 20 days ago. You were asked to guard the urn by Miss Adrian Andrews, is that right? Indeed, it seemed that they had heard of my Zavarkling reputation. I see Miss Andrews is still attracting the weirdos. You'd better watch out too, Maya. The urn was placed in a box in Zavari. It was then sent to the warehouse. You mean this box? Yes, that pathetic box. Lady Andrews was especially taken with that urn, and she wouldn't let anyone enter the storeroom, not even me. Huh. Interesting new tidbit. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. So you're sure that you had never seen the urn before? Indeed, you may ask Lady Andrews to confirm for yourself. My security was focused entirely on the entrance to that warehouse. However, I, Luke Atme, let no information whatsoever slip through my fingerprints. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my card 10 days beforehand. You mean this calling card? That's right. That is, without a doubt, my calling card.
I guess Mr. Delight didn't make this after all.
Of course, because Atme knew about the emblem. Making the card authentic would have been child's play to him. I then handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. Then no one entered the basement warehouse. Unfortunately, there were many different treasures being taken there. Thus, for a period of approximately 5 days, there were indeed people were indeed going in and out of the warehouse. At last I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 AM on October 12th. 12th. And this is the photo that proves that, huh? Indeed, to be honest, even if a photo was taken, I didn't think it would matter terribly much.
Hey, Nick, if this photo is a fake, Detective Atme might have stolen the urn whenever this was taken.
That's true. You know, he's been saying that he never saw the urn until that night. If we can prove that he's lying there, we can wrap this up and put a bow on it. I need to take a good hard look at the court record.
Not a lot to go on, is there?
That detective's been covering his tracks. There's only one thing we need to prove in this cross-examination. That he took this photo well before the actual night of the crime.
Well, alright then. How do we do that?
There's one thing that Atme stated very clearly. That he had never seen the urn before he stole it.
We need to prove that he's lying.
And it was an extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my card. Last I held the urn in my hand for the first time on October 12th. Broken and repaired by Adrian Andrews 2 weeks ago. This case is like so confusing. This case is genuinely confusing me. Like, I do not know. I want to present the urn. Let me save my game. And I'll put a save state right here. Right here. The fuck? Just so I can load the save state. In case I blow everything. Your Honor, what do you think about the witness's statement? I'm not sure I follow you. It's clearly it contradicts the, I thought. You don't sound very sure, Mr. Wright. Objection overruled. I don't think that won me any points with the judge. Oh, you know what? Chat. We're gonna do something real sneaky here. We're gonna do something real sneaky here. I'm not cheating right now. No, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not gonna do that very often. What? What? I knew it was a valuable treasure. What the fuck? Okay, okay. Alright, I have figured out how to not be a dumbass. Here. Yeah. This. That's what I needed to present. Mr. Atme, if you really are Mask the Mask, then you also wrote this calling card, correct? But of course. Is there a problem with that calling card? Allow me to read a passage from the calling card that Mask the Mask had written. Take good care of the speckled urn. Now, the speckled here surely refers to this pink pattern on the sacred urn. Yes, that is true. But so what? Truth be told, there was no way that Mask the Mask could have known about this pattern. What do you mean? This pink spotted pattern on the urn is actually nothing more than paint stains. Paint stains? And these stains did not appear until after the urn had been taken to Lordly Taylor. I'm not finding this joke to be very funny, Mr. Wright. The day that the sacred urn was taken to the warehouse, the urn was broken due to human error, or should I say an error-prone human. And that's when the pink paint got on the urn. You can't be serious. And yet this calling card clearly mentions the paint pattern. Which means Detective Atme had seen this urn long before the crime ever took place. In fact, he saw it when this fake photo was taken. And because this photo is a fake, your alibi for the night of the murder no longer holds water. What was that? Witness, do you have anything to say for yourself? Alright, that did it. He's broken.
Nick, I think it's a little early. I think it's still a little early for a victory pose.
Huh? Huh. It's so sad. No one has any conviction these days.
Conviction, you say?
Yesterday, we all decided unanimously that this man was Mask the Mask. And now, we're calling him a murderer. You don't think we're being a tad fickle?
That's a good point.
No way, don't fall for that too, Your Honor. You say that Luke Atme was the one who killed Kane Bullard. Then let me ask you this. Why would he do that?
An excellent point.
Motive, Mr. Wright, motive. Might you my merry murderous motive manifest?
Nick, he's getting a second wind.
If he prepared an alibi and pinned his crime on the Ron Delight, as you say, he must have had a very strong motive for murder. The only one with any motive we've seen is Ron Delight. Isn't that right, Detective? Indeed. According to my own research, the boy's motive is clear. Let me just take that red diamond. That red diamond. According to my own research... Okay, I already said that. Without a motive, it's nearly impossible to prove guilt in a murder case. Now then, maybe you can enlighten us as to what the defendant's motives were. Thank you, Sir Oldtimer. They're doing everything they can to make Ron look suspicious. Despite our lack of hard information, this may be our only chance. Witness testimony. Motive for murder. I, Luke Atme, had no point of contact with the victim whatsoever. Kane Bullard decided to investigate Mask the Mask and simply mistook who he was. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron Delight. And it was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight for his betrayal. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Mask the Mask. That is why Mr. Delight saw it fit to kill Kane Bullard. Truly a tragedy. So the victim, Kane Bullard, blackmailed the defendant. This is the blackmail letter found in the defendant's apartment. A handwriting test confirms that Mr. Bullard was indeed the one who wrote the letter. What? Blackmail letter updated in the court record. In Kane Bullard. Very well, Mr. Wright. Begin your cross-examination. I, Luke Atme, had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. And who in the world is going to prove that? I will. After doing a thorough background check for Detective Atme and Kane Bullard, we were unable to find any links between them. It's all in the report.
Perhaps they were connected through their work. They were both involved in security.
Nope.
That was blunt.
In any case, the only one with a motive was Mr. Delight. Kane Bullard decided to investigate Mask the Mask and simply mistook who he was. Mistook? That's right. Mistook, from the Old Norse mistaka, meaning to take an error. That wasn't what I meant.
Just who did the victim mistake Mask the Mask to be?
Why, the answer is obvious. Ron Delight, of course. Boy, I'd like to wipe that smug look off this guy's face. Why would the victim mistake the defendant for Mask the Mask? Don't you already know that? Zavari, take a look at this newspaper.
Oh, that's the famous Tear of Emanon, a magnificent jewel.
That photo shows a magnificent detective as well, does it not? Furthermore, it also shows an ugly guard, namely the defendant.
The defendant?
The victim clearly misread this article, and... Zavari! He got the wrong impression! The impression that this ugly security guard was in fact Mask the Mask.
I see. That was an unusually reasonable deduction.
It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron Delight. You mean this blackmail letter right here?
It says, bring $50,000.
And the handwriting is, without a doubt, the victim's. There's no mistake. We have an official report to prove it.
But I don't see an addressee on this letter anywhere.
An addressee? This letter was discovered in Ron Delight's apartment, and Mr. Delight did show up at the designated place and time. The fact that there is no addressee is irrelevant. I wonder.
What's up, Nick?
I just had a thought. What if that blackmail letter wasn't meant for Mr. Delight?
Whoa, do you have any evidence of that?
For some reason, I just can't shake the feeling that there's something not quite right about this blackmail letter. Well, everyone, are you quite satisfied? And it was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight for his betrayal. What do you mean by that? Oh my, I was certain you were already aware. Zavari! KD Security has a lot of security info on all sorts of companies. And since I was the security team chief, I stole data from the company. Kane Bullard had yet to forgive young Mr. Delight, which is why he sent him that letter upon mistakenly believing he was the thief. Here's a file that we discovered in Mr. Bullard's office. Evidence that Mr. Bullard was receiving money through blackmail.
However, isn't this a bit odd?
Just want to see. Tear of Emanon, jewel. Well, we already saw that it was blue.
Why did the defendant pay Mr. Bullard the money, even though he wasn't actually Mask the Mask?
On that point, there was an unfortunate bit of chance. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Mask the Mask. Do you really think that story is going to hold up? That assertion is not merely my own, I'm afraid. What do you mean? I have here a memo from Ron Delight's wife, Desiree Delight. Rana thinks that he's Mask the Mask. Don't you feel sorry for him? Please don't think too badly of him. Well, Mr. Trite. Was he trying to act like Miss Delight just now?
I thought he was actually pretty convincing.
Well, that is why Mr. Delight sought fit to kill Kane Bullard. Truly a tragedy. Now that's just your imagination talking. Come now, Sir Lawyer. I'm afraid imagination isn't the right word for it. This is a deduction, the result of carefully applied reasoning.
Can we hear that careful reasoning for ourselves?
It's a long story, and better saved for another time.
Very well, another time.
Those so-called long stories aren't usually all that long. At least not in my experience.
So you're going to try to connect Detective Atme to keep Mr. Bullard, right?
Yeah, that's right. Hopefully it won't require surgery either.
In that case, we'll have to talk about the blackmail.
That's true. Was that blackmail letter really intended for Ron?
Since we didn't have enough information, you should press him for more testimony.
Maybe I'll be able to shake some contradictions loose that way. I think I'm gonna save. Because fuck it. Because I think I'm right here, was what I have to do, but you know, I'm also a dumbass. Yeah, okay. Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Atme? Well, if it's just a few, I guess it's alright. When you said that this letter was addressed to Ron Delight, I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction. Contradiction? I don't know where a walking contradiction like you gets off saying things like that. You're one to talk. At times like these, men are made to express themselves with their fists. Why don't you show us what you've got there, Junior?
Indeed. Time to man up, Mr. Wright. Show us the contradicting evidence and the content of the blackmail letter.
Take that red diamond you received the other day. What's in here? This, maybe? Take a good look at this newspaper clipping. It contains a picture of the Tear of Emanon, the stolen jewel.
What about it?
The problem is the jewel's color. Color? I'm not much for discussing color myself. According to the clipping, the color of the stolen jewel was blue. However, in the blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day.
Red?
Which means, the red diamond described in the blackmail letter is not the Tear of Emanon that Mask the Mask stole at all.
Objection.
And your point is, Mr. Trite, so you were trying to say that this blackmail letter was intended for someone else. That is what you're trying to say, right, Trite?
That is what you're trying to say, right, Mr. Wright? Well, that is what you're trying to say, right, Nick?
Yes. This is who Kane Bullard was actually blackmailing. Naturally, it was you, Detective Atme. Do you have some sort of basis for that claim? You have been personally involved in every single Mask the Mask case. And in the last case, you recovered what was stolen and received a jewel as your reward. A jewel? Probably the one wrapped conspicuously around your finger. That red diamond ring. That is the diamond referred to in the letter. Which means that Kane Bullard wrote that letter which means Kane Bullard wrote that blackmail letter in order to blackmail you. Ah! I'm really tired, guys.
Order in the court. Order, I say.
It seems you've gone too far with your childish pranks, Mr. Wright. Uh-oh. I don't like the way you said that. Kane Bullard blackmailing Luke at me. Are you for real? Yes, I am.
Nick, come on, stand up to him.
Then answer me this. The blackmail letter contains the following passage. If you don't want your identity revealed to the world...
Yes, it certainly does.
Kane Bullard threatened to make Luke Atmy's identity public knowledge. An identity he wanted to keep a secret. So just what was that identity? Atmy killed Kane Bullard because he was afraid of his secret becoming known. What was the identity he wanted to keep secret?
This is what it all comes down to, Nick.
The identity that Luke Atmy wanted to so desperately keep secret was his identity as... Luke Atmy was a blackmailer.
Objection!
Hey now, isn't that a little different from what you've been saying? You said that Kane Bullard was the one blackmailing Luke Atmy. Are you saying that Atmy was blackmailing someone else on top of that?
Hey, you have to admit that does sound a little odd.
It's not odd. It's the only thing that makes any sense. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atmy. But Rhonda Light was also being blackmailed by a certain someone. So, did you start to receive blackmail letters starting after this incident? Yes, just a few days after the Tear of Emanon heist. After that, I started getting the plans in the mail. I received plans from some very kind person. Incredibly detailed plans.
Detailed plans? In which case, that would mean that Rhonda Light was actually masked to mask.
That is what we are claiming. Someone else came up with the plans and had Mr. Delight steal his targets for him. And that someone was none other than Luke Atmy. Shh! Silence! Now I see. It's all becoming clear. What is? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Careless with a tendency to jump to conclusions. Am I wrong? How did you? You say that I, Luke Atmy, was blackmailing Rhonda Light, in which case I would naturally know all about his relation to Mask the Mask. Well, yes. Rhonda Light started receiving plans from his second crime onward, correct? Which means I learned of his identity when he committed that first crime.
Good point. You certainly couldn't have blackmailed him otherwise.
In that case, let's see some hot, bitter evidence. During the first crime, how did Luke Atmy know that Rhonda Light was Mask the Mask? Obvious. I think I see it. See what? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Gets into lots of mischief trying to be the center of attention. What do you mean? This newspaper clipping. It has a picture of you and Rhonda Light in his guard uniform. It seems that Mask the Mask didn't just disappear into thin air. He just took off his outfit and hid it in a bucket.
That sounds far too stupid to be true.
Correct? With tricks like that, he couldn't fool a baby, let alone an ace detective. And that's when you figured it out, Mr. Atmy. That's when you learned that under his mask, Mask the Mask really was really Rhonda Light.
What the? Wasn't he supposed to be Mask the Mask? Not only that, it looks like he wasn't even an ace detective. I can't believe it. He was just a slimy blackmailer. What a fraud trying to pass himself off as an ace detective.
Why you? How dare you expose me like that? Why, I mean, I've never blackmailed anyone in my life. I'm a famous and proud ace detective. And also Mask the Mask. You can't understand. Why can't you understand that? I'm afraid you are neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. You are a blackmailer and a murderer. That is your true identity. Why, you... How dare you even could ever falsify your lily depths? Why not try to use up with yourselves with those big mouths of you? You're all fools. Fools, I say. None of you can even compare to my genius. All just jealous. So cool. What the fuck? Ace Detective cannot hide the blackmail. Ah! It's enough to make one laugh. It would seem we finally got into the real answer.
That was quite a performance by Mr. Atme. Bailiff, please prepare a cell for Mr. Atme.
Objection!
The hammer that strikes too fast has no time to aim.
What do you mean? I'm already prepared to deliver my sentence.
Allow me to say one thing. I will be the one to judge.
You don't get much more in your face than that.
It appears that your claws weren't quite sharp enough, Mr. Wright. Where do you? It's true that you've proven a lot of things. Things like Luke Atme was a filthy blackmailer, and that he wasn't at Lordly Taylor the night of the murder. That's right. That's why he's the one who killed Mr. Bull. But there's still one thing you have yet to prove.
What's that?
Just because he wasn't at the warehouse doesn't mean he was at the murder scene. Therefore, if you can't prove that this pitiful excuse for a man was at KB security, then I don't see how a verdict can be delivered. No way!
Order in the court. Well, Mr. Wright.
This is it. This is the final round. I've got to prove that Atme was at Mr. Bullard's office on that night.
But can you really prove that?
I'm gonna save again. That's long enough, Mr. Wright. I want to hear your answer. That night, Luke Atme was at KB security, and the defense... I can't prove it.
Just as I thought.
Bullshit, Your Honor. But if we hear more of Detective Atme's testimony...
Objection!
Unfortunately, that's as far as you go, Mr. Wright. What do you mean? I won't allow for any more testimony. That's what I mean. What? Have you forgotten? Luke Atme is here after we interrupted his own trial, and you have failed to prove that he committed the murder. I think it's time for this witness to return to his own trial and face his guilty verdict as Mask the Mask. No.
Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as Mask the Mask. My verdict will testify that. My verdict will verify that, just as Rhonda Lights will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness. Order in the court. That's enough deliberation over this witness.
I can't believe this. At this rate, Ron is...
Don't give up now, Nick. We still have tomorrow. We can look for more evidence and...
By then, it'll be too late.
Huh? Why?
Double jeopardy. One of the basic rules of any court of law.
Double jeopardy? Should a defendant be tried and found innocent in court, that defendant cannot be tried again for the same crime. This is a fundamental rule of all courts, and it applies to this witness as much as it applies to anyone else.
Mr. Atme will be found guilty in a matter of minutes. Guilty as Mask the Mask, which means...
He will be innocent as far as the murder of Kane Bullet is concerned. No way! The fact that you were unable to prove Mr. Atme's guilt of the crime here means that he will never again be tried as Mr. Kane Bullet's murder, as Kane Bullet's murderer.
Breakdown sprite. Now there's nothing I can possibly do to win. Even if Ron is proclaimed to be innocent, the real killer, Luke Atme, will go free.
You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today, and as long as there is no more testimony, I'm afraid I have to declare that there will be no further questioning of this witness. Are there any objections? Then I hereby end the cross-examination of Luke Atme.
I think I see it. Your Honor, when you were a child, this is what was on your report card every year. Has poor hearing and often makes mistakes as a result.
How did you?
Phoenix, raise your head up high. Have you forgotten what I used to tell you? A lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. That voice! No way! Long time no see, Phoenix. Mia! This is the true power of the Cryon channeling technique. I know that it's really Maya who's standing before me, but right now she's my mentor, Mia Fey. Now, let's do this. But there's nothing more we can do, Mia. Without any more testimony, I can't cross-examine. Not yet. The testimony's not over yet. What do you mean? Your Honor, just now you said something very interesting. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. Yes, that's true, but unfortunately, Your Honor, you're forgetting something. Earlier, after the last cross-examination, this witness made a number of remarks. Well now, said Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as Mask the Mask. My verdict will verify that, just as Rhonda Light will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detective-ness.
Yes, but these comments appear to have no importance whatsoever.
Very well, then we shall prove their importance via cross-examination. At any rate, as long as the witness has made these remarks, we, the defense, assert our right to question them. Is that alright with you, prosecutor?
Is something the matter, Mr. Godot?
Nothing. Oh, Sir Lawyer, it looks like you're one step too late. If you think such falsehoods will do anything to me, look at... Let's hear it. Huh? It's true that the witness made some remarks. So then, let's hear this last bit of cross-examination. Mr. Godot, what are you...
Very well then, look at me. I'll allow the defense to cross-examine your earlier remarks.
The defense would like to hear why you declare the defendant to be the true murderer.
So please, give us one last bit of testimony.
Phoenix, this is it. This is our absolute last chance. Yes, Chief. The last testimony. Indeed, it is true that I was not at Lord Taylor. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph readied. My brilliant deduction was what informed me that the true culprit was Rhonda Light. And thanks to the keycard and wallet, it was abundantly clear that he was there. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once. The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Light was wearing his Mask the Mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. And the blackmail letter? The victim likely just mistook the color of the jewel. Zavare. Therefore, all the evidence points to that poor boy. This testimony actually seems to hold up pretty well.
The witness's earlier remarks do not appear to have been hastily prepared. All of his points have been explained, and none of them seem to contradict anything.
But of course.
But how did you know about the emergency buzzer?
The police investigation documents went directly through me, and I always look over all the documents. It's elementary, sir lawyer.
Are you going to make even more trouble for us now, sir lawyer?
I will not allow any of your usual shenanigans, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
We cannot postpone Luke Atmey's trial any longer. This is it. Your last chance.
Hang on a sec. Just one chance?
It seems that the party's about to begin.
Well, Phoenix, there isn't any evidence that contradicts with that testimony.
So it would seem.
What do you mean, so it would seem?
Listen, Phoenix. Pointing out contradictions doesn't always mean you have to present evidence, does it? At any rate, this is our last chance. If you can't point out a case-breaking contradiction, you lose. That's all there is to it.
Cup number 17. The last cup. It seems like the time has come to put an end to this trial.
I have to find a fatal contradiction in this testimony. And I need to point it out without presenting evidence. Which means all I can do is find the contradictory remark and press it.
Remember, you only get one chance. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your final cross-examination.
The last testimony. Indeed, it is true that I was not at Lordly Taylor. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph readied. My brilliant deduction was what informed me that the true culprit was Rhonda Wright, and thanks to the keycard and wallet, it was abundantly clear that he was there. I was also able to make a detection from the buzzer, which only sounded once. The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left prints if he had sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Light was wearing his the mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. I'm like 99.99999% sure that that is the statement I have to press, but let's save, just in case it isn't. Mr. Atmey, about this last remark.
You still don't get it, do you, Trite? This isn't the time to be pressing the witness on every little statement.
I'm afraid you're the one who still doesn't get it, Mr. Godot.
What?
Mr. Atmey, it seems you have finally admitted that you were in the CEO's office on the night of the murder. How can you say that? Let's review your testimony, shall we, Mr. Atmey? The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Mr. Delight was wearing his the mask outfit. Is that correct? Indeed. That's what I said. My deductions are absolutely foolproof. More like your deductions prove that you're a fool. I'm sorry? Whatever do you mean?
For some reason, I'm starting to get really thirsty.
When exactly did we learn the fact that Rhonda Light was dressed as Mask the Mask when he went to the scene of the crime?
That was,
It was just a few hours ago. Back when my 6th cup was looking at me with a cold stare.
Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention it before? I'm sorry, I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. That's right. The defendant had yet to tell anyone else this before this morning. Therefore, the only people who should know this are those who have been watching this trial. Do you understand now, Detective Atman? There is no way that you should have known about that. You were in the next courtroom being tried as Mask the Mask. So then, enlighten us. Just how did you know about that piece of evidence? Well...
Come on. This detective must have known about it. He probably had plenty of chances to find out beforehand.
And it's those chances that I want to discuss next. That night, Mr. Delight was wearing his Mask the Mask outfit. There is one and only one way for Detective Abney to have found that out.
Only one?
One way, you say?
Please remember, if you will, Mr. Delight's testimony. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. For a second, my client witnessed the real killer.
But Mr. Delight never saw him. There's no way to tell whether or not the real killer was Luke Atme.
It's with that statement that I'll turn this case on its head.
Just what are you implying?
Mr. Delight saw the real killer, correct? Now, if you turn that statement around, it stands to follow that the real killer had also seen Ron Delight.
Impossible.
Detective Atme, you saw Mask the Mask at the murder scene that night. You saw him when you killed Kane Bullard and assaulted Ron Delight. This was the only way you could have known what Ron was wearing. Take a good look, everyone. Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I was forced to create one by myself. Here I am, the tragic clown.
That's the same line you gave yesterday.
But I think there's a little more meaning behind it this time.
What an awfully complicated incident. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atme, who was in turn blackmailing Ron Delight. And upon killing his blackmailer, Luke Atme tried to frame Ron Delight. He then claimed to be guilty as Mask the Mask in order to escape his true crime.
And to that end, he came up with this plan. He used the double jeopardy rule when making his alibi.
At any rate, it would seem we finally found the truth.
Excuse me?
I came perilously close to besmirching this record of an innocent young man. Besmirching him with the title of murderer.
Don't ignore me!
Oh, I didn't realize you were there.
Why wouldn't he be? About the verdicts.
I know. You never committed any murder.
That's right. I'm so glad you understand that, but I really am Mask the Mask!
Ah?
So, thanks to that trial yesterday, I'm innocent now, right? What was it that you said? Double jeopardy?
Now that you mention it...
I've been careless.
Careless? What do you think, Mia? As the defendant says, the rule of double jeopardy is absolute. A defendant can never be tried twice for a crime in which he was once found innocent. Then, Mask the Mask is really innocent. For now, it would seem so. For now.
Now then, this court finds the defendant not guilty.
Woo! Boy, this is really lucky. Wait, this isn't so good after all. You see, the thing is, I still am Mask the Mask after all. October 14th, 3:35 p.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 4.
You did it, Nick.
Thanks, Mia. It's been a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's because Maya doesn't call on me much these days. Oh? I'm just joking, Phoenix. Don't take everything so seriously. But on the other hand, Maya, she seems kind of lost these days. You mean about becoming the master of the cry and channeling school? Becoming the master means saying goodbye to our mother. You mean Misty Faye. Watch over her, will you, Phoenix? Of course. Well then, see you around. Mia.
Ah! Mr. Wright. I don't know what to say.
Congratulations, Mr. Delight.
Thank you so much. No, wait. Nothing really matters anymore, though, now that all of this has happened. Come on, just be happy already!
Maya!
You've been cleared of the murder charges and gone off as Mask the Mask to boot. But in exchange, I lost everything. Huh? What do you mean? Stealing security information from KB Security, becoming Mask the Mask? I did it all for one reason, for her.
You mean your wife, Desiree?
She hates criminals more than anything.
Come to think of it, she was once held hostage by some robbers, wasn't she?
She always said how she hated sneaky criminals. I knew that, but once I got fired from KB Security and lost all the money I had, she wouldn't have any reason to stay with me. I thought she would leave me for sure.
So that's why you became Mask the Mask.
Yes, but it's all over now. A broken bowl can never be put back together. That's not true, right, Nick?
Right.
Really? Can we go back to the way things were? You'll be fine, and Nick can prove it.
I can? I kind of wish you would check with me first. Mr. Delight, even if a bowl is broken, there's always a way to put it back together.
The Sacred Urn? Desi was the one who found this.
Desiree, your wife, she always believed in you, Ron. That's why you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about anything.
There you are.
Miss Delight.
You did it, Ronnie. You're innocent. I'm so happy. So thank you. I appreciate that, but, I suppose you don't want anything more to do with me, do you?
Ronnie,
why didn't you talk to me about what was going on?
I had no idea you'd quit KB Security. I never imagined that you were really Mask the Mask either.
Miss Delight, what are you going to do now that you know? You're not going to really leave him, are you?
Come on, it's obvious, isn't it? How could I ever let such a wonderful man like him get away? After all, my bike's really fast. So fast that there's no way he could ever get away. But didn't you say that you hated criminals?
Oh, I don't hate people who act all cowardly and sneaky. Like that detective.
I see.
Why, Ronnie went and declared his crimes before he committed them, like a man.
I just love a man who's so chivalrous.
Chivalrous?
I knew I was right about you.
Every day I spend with you is filled with thrills and excitement.
Desiree, you really do love Ron, don't you?
Nicky boy?
Yes? I'm really glad I asked you to defend my Ronnie.
Thank you so much. I'll never forget what you've done for us.
Oh, well, take care of yourself. You too, Nicky boy. I can feel my face going red.
Mr. Nick, Mystic Maya, congratulations!
Talk about bad timing.
Mr. Nick, how could you? With another man's wife, in front of Mystic Maya.
No, you don't.
I'll never forgive you, never, ever!
And he blacked out. So just as the case came to a close, so too did my consciousness. Ron said a broken bowl can never be put back together, but I know that's not true. I mean, just look. Here's a perfect example of one that was put back together even better than before. Episode 2, The Stolen Turnabout. The end. brand new episode has been added. Recipe for Turnabout. Look, it's Mr. Godot. Now next episode we're gonna start the worst case in this game, which is definitely a step up from, Turnabout Big Top, third case of the last game. But, yeah, this case is, I personally really like it. There's an offensive stereotype, and I don't like that. But that's ultimately, he does play a bit of a role, but it's not like super big. You'll see when we get there. Anyways, we'll start that next time. Bye bye.